I want to take that forward with Ambassador Meera Shankar as well. Uh, Ambassador Sikri spoke about, I mean, both of you have served in Bangladesh. And looking at the immediate neighborhood, if I were to talk about the extended arc of interest, and the reason why I say that is you look at the situation in Bangladesh, situation in Nepal now, situation in Pakistan, situation in Sri Lanka. Ambassador, how would you define India's extended neighborhood? Should it extend from the Gulf to the Indo-Pacific? What are the strategic priorities within that arc, in your view, ma'am?
I would define India's strategic neighborhood as extending from the Horn of Africa right to the Indo-Pacific. Because whatever happens in these regions directly impacts India. You know, India is Janus-faced. We look westward to the Gulf and we look eastward to the fast developing economies of East Asia. So we have this dual-faced or dual geographical interest in both these regions. And we have to plan accordingly. Now, our our security policy in the extended neighborhood has to, help build a more balanced security environment for India in the face of China's increasing assertiveness and sometimes even aggression, as we have seen on our border. The second would be to look at building India's own defense and technical capabilities and how we can build partnerships with countries in this region to enhance that. And this would include both imports of defense equipment as well as joint development, joint production, joint research as well. The third would be to ensure India's economic security, and that would mean building resilient supply chains which are not prone to or susceptible to domination or weaponization by any country. And we've seen increasingly that trade and access to limited resources is being used as a leverage or as weaponization in global relations. And this would also include access to resources. So when we look at the extended neighborhood, this would be the objectives of our diplomacy. And finally, it would be also to build connectivity, because, you know, whatever connections we had, because India was the heart of the British Empire, and it had connections running westward to Aden, southward to Colombo, eastward into East Asia. But these connections were severed for political reasons as a result of partition. Now, for India, it's important to rebuild. How do we rebuild these connections? Yes, sea links remain. They were not severed. But land connectivity to East Asia certainly got impacted. Now, you look at what India has been doing in terms of pursuing its policies. There are certain pillars, both bilaterally as well as multilateral groupings, which India has joined to help achieve these objectives. Multilaterally, we joined the Quad and in the Indo-Pacific, and in the West, we joined the I2U2, the India, Israel, US, UAE grouping, which was intended to enhance security and peace in that region. The Quad didn't take on a specific military role because of India's hesitations, since we have China right on our border. But we did get into the area of enhancing maritime security cooperation, particularly sharing of information with regard to domain awareness in the Indo-Pacific. Other than that, there were initiatives on resilient supply chains, access to critical minerals. Australia, for instance, is a key source of critical minerals, but all the processing of those minerals is done in China, which has near dominance in that area. So now one of the agreements that we have signed with Australia is an MOU on critical minerals, and we are looking at joint development of those resources, joint investment, joint sharing of technology. Whether we are able to take it forward will depend on how business gets involved in pursuing these initiatives.